It's Rob!
Tony! And I'm Jeff.
We're in gaming.
And that's you.
Hello gamers and welcome back to the Inn. I'm Rob, of course, or Warshack if you want to call me by my in-game name. And today we're going to be playing Fatigue Warrior 1.5. So this deck is pretty similar to the one we posted a couple months ago. We've made some slight changes and I think it works a lot better. For those of you who are new to the Inn and aren't familiar with our deck guides, we play 3 ranked games. We basically win all 3 ranked games. I explain to you why I do what I do with the deck, which will help you then play the deck if you decide you want to play it. From there, at the end, we talk about the individual cards in the deck, why I have them in there, and some combos that you can expect to see from them. And then if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can leave it in the comment section below at any point in time. I like Warshack and Despite in our opening hand. It allows us to deal with the field early on. This deck basically, if Fatigue didn't give you the good indication of what this deck is going to do, we're basically going to use our passive every single turn as much as possible, and we're going to live as long as possible until the opponent either concedes or they die because they have no cards left in their deck. So normally when you have 2 weapons in your hand, you can go ahead and attack. So if I was playing Control Warrior, I would have attacked with our weapon. Oh wow, Egg. So he's actually playing Raptor Rogue. That's interesting. That is interesting. I almost want to attack this Egg because I don't want him to use with Raptor, and you know more than, like, without a doubt, you know this guy has Raptor in his hand. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and attack this Egg and use our passive. And yeah, I'm just gonna end it there. I'd rather him play a 4/4 on turn 2 than be able to play 2 4/4s on turn 3, copy this shit, combo with that, prep into this. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna play this, how you say it, man? Say. Okay, so, we have the Brawl, so I think we can go ahead and attack this Spider, and probably just equip the Despite and passive. I'm gonna make the assumption that this turn he's gonna play 1 more creature and use his passive, which means Brawl will hit 4 cards and a 1/1 Spider will live. If he's coining out a Loatheb, I swear to God if you coin out Loatheb. Belcher, okay, this is fine. I was gonna be pretty upset if you would have coined out the Loatheb, but it's all okay. So we're gonna go ahead and use Brawl. Ideally, we want one of the 1/1 spiders to live. If Belcher lives, that's okay. If the 4/4 lives, that sucks. The 1/1 spider lives, fantastic. We're gonna go ahead and kill off the 1/2 with our weapon. And next turn, it looks like we're gonna go ahead and True Heart. 20 health is enough to where we don't really have to worry about dying anytime soon. So that's fine. His turn 5, Haunted Creeper and the Raptor to copy it. There you go. That's pretty good. Look at you go. So I think we can go ahead and swing our weapon into the Raptor because he played the Raptor prior to our Despite. No, the Despite came before the Raptor, so we won't actually kill the 1/1s that come out of that. Ripperonis. Okay. I think we kill it anyway. Go ahead, True Heart. So he has 3 damage on board. We have 16 health. As long as he doesn't like Leroy cold blood us, I think we're okay. Which you never know. I swear to God, if I hear Leroy Jenkins, I'm gonna be pretty upset. So, huh?
Why?
Because I would lose. Again.
This
makes me upset, Tony. If you don't know who I'm talking to Tony, who's sitting across from him. He's gonna come over and make his appearance. So we're at 13, which kind of sucks. Oh no, it's not that bad. No, it's still pretty bad. So we go down to 12, like this. We can actually revenge, clear field, and start armoring up. So now we're basically just gonna sit on getting 4 armor for a turn, and we're just gonna lean back a little bit. Take a sip of coffee.
Take a sip of Rob's water. I'm just kidding.
Put that down. Another Unearthed Raptor with no combo. Okay. Agent to deal 2 damage to face. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. I think this is where he might get a little upset. So I think we can go ahead and... I don't see Bouncing Blades having that great of a target. So I think attacking the 3/3 is fine. We can Bouncing Blades the 3/4 down, and then we'll go ahead and just use our passive again. And next turn looks like if he plays anything huge, we'll just passive shield slam it, or bash passive shield slam. We have actually 2 shield slams in our hand. And then on turn 10, it's like a Hell Scream passive kind of turn. So we can't play Hell Scream next turn, but so Lothib, we can't necessarily, can we shield slam that? He gives it +5, so that makes it a 6. Oh, yeah, we can. So we passive shield slam the Lothib. Feels good, man. So it's passive. Let's use the golden. Let's not use the golden one. We'll kill that off. We just paid 6 mana to kill a 5/5 to deal 7 damage. It's all right. This turn is going to be Hell Scream whatever he plays and use our passive. So ideally, whatever he plays, we want it to have less than 4 HP. If not, we can actually just Hell Scream phase for 4. Okay, Hell Scream phase for 4. I like the way this game's panning out. The combos. Hell Scream is basically just a field clear for us, but if he doesn't have anything to clear and we can take board control, why not, right? We're back up to 21 HP. He's wasted both Raptors. We're still winning in cards. He has 15 left while we have the 7. We can actually go ahead and bash the Defender of Argus because I'm going to assume he played this for us to attack into it because he has a BGH in his hand, so we won't fall for such shenanigans. Oh, we can actually just weapon it down. Let's go ahead, kill this off. Swing for 4 more. And next turn we're going to be pushing 14 damage, and then it puts him at 8, and then we can bash, putting him at 5, and then if we just magically draw this card that says deal 5 damage for the remaining mana we have, we win. The card doesn't exist, but if it did, we'd play it. It's back to 22 health, 11-11. There's a Loot Hoarder. He already wasted both Raptors. We're necessarily not that scared about that. Him playing Loot Hoarder is good because he draws a card, which puts him, you know, more cards like... Ideally, we want to be like anywhere between 2 to, I want to say 6, but that's sometimes too much, like 2 to 5 cards over your opponent. So him being at 14 and us being at 16, we're actually 2 cards up from him, which is good because if we enter the fatigue phase, why would he do that? I mean, obviously he doesn't have anything, that's why he did that, but that's still kind of silly to me. Entering the fatigue phase, he enters it early. So now we're 4 cards above. He's going to give his guy +8, okay. He actually does run Cold Blood, so he's like running a fast pace, like Raptor Rogue, but if you're running fast pace, you don't run Sledge Belchers. That just seems silly to me. So we're gonna go ahead and just destroy his minion, and we're gonna swing for another 4. And then next turn, we're actually 1 off lethal, because Bash, attack face, Hell Scream face, puts it's 17 damage, because Hell Scream combo with the weapon's 14, Bash is 17, he's at 18. So another bash would do it. We already wasted a bash. No, did we waste another bash? I'm not sure.
Yes.
We're all right. We're at 25 health, Tony. I love armor, dude. Sylvanas, that is a card that he played. Okay.
I thought he was going to smack him. That would be really funny.
Death Lord definitely puts a damper on some things. Should we go ahead and just go YOLO Swag Juice? If we would have gone, let's bash this. No, we actually, no. I don't know what we need to do here, to be honest. Let's bash this. Let's see what comes out. I guess we should have seen what comes out prior to, ooh, that's not good for us. What kind of shenanigans is this?
Get into it, then go face with Hell Scream.
Yep. We just turned our Fatigue Warrior deck into a aggro deck.
Aggro Warrior works.
So Deathlord being in front of the Sylvanas means he can't attack it into our Hell Scream and attack right away with it unless he has a sap, and then he'll actually be able to swing 10 to our face with Hell Scream because it has charge, and he, yeah, so don't kill off your Sylvanas, or don't kill my Deathlord. You could actually turn this game around. If he takes our Hell Scream though, we could just BGH it. We have enough armor, so
Braun Healbot. Braun Healbot, here it comes.
Heal for 16 and his Raptor Rogue.
Uh-huh. Oh, shit.
Uh-oh, is he giving it more attack?
Cold Blood.
Cold-blooded? What does that do? All right, so he Cold Bloods it. He swings into the Death Lord. It doesn't kill the Sylvanas, which is fine. All right, it doesn't kill this, so it doesn't make another one. Loot Hoarder, okay. Does he have something to kill this? He does. So he's going to kill off his own card. He's going to take our Hell Scream and be able to attack with it right away. That's pretty good. Look at the plays.
The value, please.
Boom, we take 10. And he Dr. Booms. Wow. So now we just need to draw into Brawl. This is the point where it's like, are you kidding me? How do you even make a comeback? Okay, so it looks like we're just going to Shield Slam this, and then Big Game Hunter.
Yeah.
Seems like it's the standard play in this situation. Yeah. He has what? 8 to our 13? Seems fine. I doubt he has any more damage. Boom, I believe, was his biggest card.
I doubt it.
He already used it. He already used the cold blood. He already used.
Why you look so pale? You look so pale.
I look pale because I'm sitting back and there's no yellow in this room. It's all not yellow. Jesus, man, what the hell is this? Okay, we can just draw into another revenge. We draw into a brawl. We draw. There's like, I don't know how many cards in this deck, Tony, that we could draw into that actually will help us in the situation.
Revenge would be great.
There we go.
Oh.
This is just revenge. It's about time we got lucky.
I know, right? Except God, that hit for a fucking ton.
So I guess we can play Healbot here because we've already used both revenges. So it'd be no point not to.
True. True.
So again, he's at 6 and we're at 12. As soon as it enters fatigue, we win. Fan of Knives. He's able to actually kill this now, which is what I did not want him to be able to do. He's at 5 to our 12. So we just need to keep living a little bit longer. We do have 2 Shield Maidens in the deck, so wherever those guys are, that'd be fantastic.
Shield blocks, probably.
There's our Brawl. How you doing?
Brawl is completely
Useless at
pointless
this
right
point
now.
now. Yeah, we have 2
Unless
Brawls.
He fills it up more. You still have 2 Brawls left? Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
that's what I'm saying. And he's going to heal for 1 every turn. There's so much value coming out of this Mistress of Pain. She's causing me a good amount of pain right now. It reminds me of the Megan Fox, where she was like a succubus. It was such a bad movie. No, that's the vagina that eats people.
Yeah, that was her.
No, that was not her.
The vagina that eats. Oh.
Normally I wouldn't have shield blocked there because drawing is bad, but because we're so far ahead of this rogue, it doesn't matter. And we have Ice Hollow. He's gonna come out and say hello.
What's that big guy?
He did. I don't think they did a good job, like going over what he actually looks like. Like, I mean, that's what he looks like, but it's too.
He's from my favorite fucking raid ever. TOC was one of my favorite raids.
He's too animated, in my opinion. His horns are fucking huge too.
That's how he was there, wasn't he?
So we can go ahead and brawl. I don't find a better time. I don't see a better time in the future of when we can brawl. That's fine. We got rid of 2 cards.
This guy has nothing.
He has
left.
1 card left in his deck again. Just passive every turn for the rest of our lives with this deck.
I mean, you're at fucking 40.
You know how frustrating it is to play against fatigue decks?
Probably very.
It's really frustrating.
It's 40 to 8.
So do we Gore Howl into this, or do we Ice Howl and say hello? I think we Ice Howl and say hello. No. Let's Gore Howl and say hello. Gore Howl and say hello.
Are you gonna BM?
No, I'm not gonna BM.
Oh, I thought you meant actually.
These games already take long enough. I'm not going to BM. Say hello.
40 damage 1 turn. Here it goes.
So we're gonna swing. Oh man, I guess we can just. Can you just concede?
I know, right? Like, dude, there's absolutely nothing you can do. I'll give him points for vindication. For
he's set on my just like. How mad?
Oh
How mad?
my God, do it. Please.
No. We'll just Ice Howl him down. It's a cool little animation Ice Howl's got there. And this is where he just slowly dies.
Play the 1 card you have. I want to see it.
Watch it be, what's it called? Bloodscale Buccaneer. Gets rid of my Gore Howl.
Oh, -1 durability.
Yeah, -1 durability to the weapon. Okay, so we just got to win 2 more games. It'll only take about 3 more hours, and we'll be good. It will be good. This actually should be called Concede Warrior because it never really goes out to the last card. And then some might ask, why am I not playing Reno in this deck? And that is because, guys, when you play 2 of a card, Reno becomes not so great. And if you're like, oh, then why don't you just play 1 of the card? Let's see how far you get with 1 Brawl, 1 weapon, and then if you're like, oh, then why don't you just wait till you draw both weapons? Then that kind of takes away from Reno, because the whole point of Reno is when you draw him, like most of the time you need him right then, and if you don't, you need him shortly after that. So if you're sitting there waiting on a weapon, and normally if Reno costs 6 and a weapon costs anywhere between 2 to 4, you can't even play him till 8, and by turn 8, you drawing the 2 to 3 cards you have duplicates of and Reno in your deck and not need him prior to that is like 0%. So that's why there's no Reno in this deck. You can, in fact, play a Reno Warrior, which is a different deck. Just keep that in mind. Tony's shaking his head in approval. So we're playing against a Warlock who is tapping, so this is really good for us. We're just going to go ahead and match him with the tapping and get 4 more armor. And by the way, guys, here's our Shield Maiden making an appearance for the first time. She is one buff girl. I don't think anyone would ever date a Shield Maiden. So he's actually playing Handlock. One of a kind, new to the meta, never been seen before.
People still play that?
Apparently. So in turn 5 is going to be Belcher, turn 6 Shield Maiden. Or if he plays like, let's say, a Giant this turn, we can go ahead. Actually, no. So he passives this turn. We play Belcher. He swings his Drake into Belcher. Hopefully he doesn't have Mortal Coil. He plays a Giant. We crush the... We actually play Crush. That's what it's called. We crush the Giant. I actually haven't taken a good look at Crush. So Crush, it's a pretty cool looking card. Let's move this over here. This guy he's got 2 cool hooves. He's got a really big foot.
Remember Bigfoot from Land Before Time?
He's got some problems with his bicep and triceps, though. Those are some serious veins you got going on there. So he's actually playing Reno Warlock. That's not necessarily bad for us. So we have no silence in the deck, which means when he finally brings out Thad, which we cannot stop, we'll just have to brawl at that time or we'll BGH it. There's plenty of options we have. So in this situation, because he has a 7-4, I kind of want to kill it, but Bash isn't enough to kill it. Playing the Death Lord doesn't really feel that great either. Playing the Shield Maiden, though, doesn't really contest anything. But I'm just going to play it. And I guess we can go face because I'm not going to attack into the creature because both his creatures are going to go ahead and attack our Sludge Belcher next turn. So we just got to be careful. Drawing into Brawl is going to be really important, but this game should be ours. And this guy just played fucking Black Knight. There we go. One of those, Tony. It's one of those. So he's going to swing his 7-4 into our 5-5. If he doesn't, he's a silly goose. Okay. There's our Brawl, so that's good. I think we can go ahead and just Belcher again and throw down the passive. We can do this because both these cards have 4 attack, which means he has to have a Mortal Coil in hand. And ideally, how many cards? 17 to our 20, so we're already 3 cards up. He's got 10 cards in hand, so ideally we want him to play like 1 or 2 cards here, throw down the passive, and oh, he does have the Mortal Coil, so him drawing another one is perfectly fine with us. The only problem is, second he plays Void Caller, we want to attack it because we want Lord Draxus to come out of it, because we don't want him actually using Draxus, because at that point in time, we lose. Because we cannot deal with the amount of 6/6s that come out of Lord Draxus. So there's the Leper. His field looks pretty scary here, but it's actually not that scary. One of these guys needed to be at 3 HP. That kind of sucks. Brawl doesn't feel good here. Like it'd be decent here, but it doesn't really give me that warm and cuddly. So I think we can go ahead and play Death Lord and passive. It's gonna bring a card out of his deck, which he can't stop, which ideally should be Lord Draxus or Reno Jackson. And we want him to use his passive and or play a couple more creatures. He's almost forced to play cards in this situation because he has 10 cards in hand, which is really nice. Most players, if they oh, okay, so he Iron Beaked it. That's really good on his behalf that we could avoid taking the card out of my deck. It looks like he's going to kill the Death Lord off, which is pretty smart. Some players would have just gone face there. That saves us from, it makes our Brawl weaker, but it also allows us to use the Bash onto his Drake, which really helps us out. So we're gonna go ahead and War Axe. We can kill off the 2/1. We bash the 4/2. We throw down the passive. And next turn, our Ice Howl can make a trade with his 4/4. But ideally, we might even want to save Ice Howl for when he plays something a little bit bigger. And any time we draw Justicar is going to be basically game over. Even if he plays Lord Draxus later in the game and we're able to get enough armor to the point where even if he plays 6/6s every turn, we can still live long enough for Fatigue to kill him. Or if he plays Lord Draxus anytime between now and the end of the game, we just hold on to 1 Bash, hold on to Hellscream, and then hold on to Death Spite, and we make those combo wombos. Deal 15 damage in 1 turn. Okay, so Ice Howl, I feel as if it's a decent card here. We can kill off the 4/4, but at the same time, he hasn't used BGH or Soul Siphon, and I kind of want to get more value out of Ice Howl. Maybe kill off a Mal'Ganis with it. Healbot doesn't do anything. Crush feels extremely weak right now because that actually can kill anything. That doesn't have to have an open attack for it. Our weapon doesn't kill anything, and Execute we want to save. So almost Ice Howl seems like the play here. He takes 9 mana. We can't passive at the same time we use him. Again, I kind of wanted to save him for Mal'Ganis, but again, he costs 9 mana, and at the same time, Crush can kill Mal'Ganis, Execute can kill Mal'Ganis, a Brawl can kill Mal'Ganis. There's options, guys. There's options. So this forces him to use, you know, whatever CC he may have. Did he top deck the BGH? Of course he fucking did. If he had a BGH in his hand, I would be less salty, but top decking it means that we could have made another trade, which is, you know, slightly annoying. So we're going to kill the BGH, use our passive. We can afford taking, you know, 2 turns from the Imp Gang boss every turn because we gain 2 armor, so we're not really losing anything. It's his 12 to our 16, so anytime he Lord Jaraxxus the sooner he Lord Jaraxxus, the better for him. But hopefully he doesn't draw into it, or it doesn't play it in his deck. He could be playing combo Reno Lock, which we haven't seen a ton of, but he could be playing. I almost want to shield block here just because we don't necessarily have anything, and we're not that, it's pretty far apart, and we don't have anything else to play. The sooner we draw into Justicar, the better. Do we shield slam the Belcher? I don't think so. We'll just save up for Brawl. We'll have him play 1 more creature and we'll use the first Brawl. Or should we save it for when he Lord Jaraxxus summons all the 6/6? Lord Jaraxxus. Uses Lord Jaraxxus. Jaraxxus? There's the mind control tech that he finally realized he's not getting any value from. Okay, so we've got a Death Lord. This is nice because it forces a card to come out of his deck that he necessarily doesn't want to come out of there. Again, we're looking for the Lord Jaraxxus to come out of the deck. It also forces maybe the Imp Gang boss to have to attack it. If he uses Soul Siphon on it, that seems like a pretty good win to us. Dark Bomb, okay. Ugh. There's a hit. There's a hit, so he's not actually... Lord Jaraxxus just came out of his deck. Yes! This is very exciting to me. These are exciting times. It's the small things, but we know Lord Jaraxxus is going to be the one to lose. Oh, no, Belcher is. That's fine. Do you know how exciting that is, Tony? Lord Jaraxxus. Like, he had 9 cards left in the deck at that point in time. Oh, there's Dr. Boom. How you doing? So we can just BGH the Dr. Boom, but first I think we're going to use... We made this mistake before. I think we can Revenge. And then BGH. Or maybe we'll just save Revenge. What are the... I think we can afford using 1 Revenge. Now the BGH gets to make a trade with the Belcher if he doesn't want to use a card. I guess he could Bane of Doom it. It's his 7 to our 11, so we're basically 4 cards up from him because we're able to pull 1 out with the Death Lord. The sooner we draw into Justicar, there's only 11 cards left, the sooner we can actually maybe win. Again, if he's playing combo Reno Warlock, which Tony gives me the weirdest looks when I come up with these names, I swear to God they're true, we could actually lose because he can pump out 20 damage in 1 turn. But he hasn't used Emperor yet.
What the fuck is Combo Reno Warlock?
Combo Reno Warlock is Leroy Jenkins' Power Overwhelming Faceless Manipulator. So we... It's pretty bad. Okay, so I think we can go ahead and use our passive, Justicar passive. I'm pretty sure we're safe. As long as he doesn't have that 1 card that copies the passive. We face this other I actually went against this other Warlock 2 seasons ago who was playing the card that copies your passive. So at the second I played Justicar on turn 6 against him, he copied my passive and he had more armor than me by the end of the game.
Oh, dude, I remember that.
It was pretty bad. I was pretty upset. So I think we can go ahead and crush. No, we should probably execute this. And then we can Bouncing Blade that. Oh man, 11-11. It'd be a shame for that to die to a bouncing blades. Can we play Despite? I'm going to assume he's playing probably. We don't really need the Despite. We'll save it so we can actually get one charge out of it. So he has.
He had a Thaddeus?
He had a Thad.
Been able to play correctly ever?
No. I don't understand how the card works. I can't do it. I am just not skilled enough. So I think we can just go ahead and,
Crush.
Let's just crush that pass. He'll run out of cards eventually.
Are you at your 4 passive or 4 armor?
Yeah, I finally got Jescar, so I'm getting 4 turn now. This is like when you become like, when you work in your field for a long time and then you can just like sit on the bankroll. This is what happens. So he's gonna brand into the Lothip, so now we can't cast spells next turn, guys. So we can just cast a Brawl for 15. So we're gonna kill Brand, passive, and next turn we can kill Lothip with our weapon because of the Death Rattle. You definitely, guys, some players will play this deck and then they'll complain that the deck doesn't work. The deck actually does work, you just have to play it right. This deck is probably even harder than Control Warrior. Oh, there's the Acidic Swamp Ooze. Didn't we make a bet that he had Acidic Swamp Ooze in the deck and that's why we didn't play Despite 2 turns ago? Good call, Rob. Good call. At least it wasn't my Gorehowl. So we're going to go ahead, play the Despite, swing into the 5-4. We know that the Acidic Swamp Ooze will die next turn because of the Death Rattle. So that's fine. And then we have Gorehowl to follow up. If he plays, what is it called, Blood Scale, whatever, if it came out of Peddler, then he can play it now, and then our Gorehowl will live. But ideally, a Gorehowl will get at least 3 or 4 creatures out of it. He's going to go face. Perfectly fine. How many cards are left in his deck? 2 to our 5. Seems all right. So we can actually go face here. Reno Jackson can come out at any point in time at this point. Shield Maiden passive. Seems all right. Go back up to 12 more armor. Getting Lord Jaraxxus out of our Death Lord was like the best thing that could ever happen to us. Like the best thing. Like 100%. 100. 100. They should have made Gorehowl look so much cooler than it does. It's just a guy standing there holding up the axe. It should have been like the axe with like this cool like
Gorehowl's like the most legendary weapon in the game.
And it doesn't look that legendary. So there's Emperor. So we can go ahead and just Gorehowl into Emperor. Can we actually end it here? We can't. We're off by 1. We are off by 1 damage from pushing lethal. This makes me a little sad. So we're just gonna Gorehowl Emperor, use our passive, swing face. Here comes the Reno Jackson. So we are, how many cards are left in our deck? 4 cards, so we're gonna be 4 fatigue up from him. Yeah, there's just no way. I'm expecting the Mal'Ganis anytime. He also hasn't played Void Caller, which is what we wanted. So like, let's say this matchup, Lord Jaraxxus didn't come out of the Death Lord. At that point in time, we know he probably runs, we know he runs Imp Gang Boss, which he already played. And then he runs Mal'Ganis, Lord Jaraxxus, and possibly a Doomguard. But let's assume he doesn't play Doomguard and he plays Lord Jaraxxus and Mal'Ganis. We basically want to kill the Void Caller like turn 8-ish when we know he most likely has one of the 2, and let's just hope it pops out the Lord Jaraxxus. That's basically the way we want it to go down. So I think we can just attack this, use our passive again, and end our turn. So this is where he's just going to die a very slow and painful death. Poor guy. In the arms of the angels. I would play that for you guys, but then YouTube would get upset. YouTube gets upset over a lot of stuff. Oh wow, Sylvanas the Windrunner. You just set me up for a pretty nice brawl. I don't think we would have got more value out of that brawl considering he doesn't have any more cards left in his deck. I think we can go ahead and just swing into this. Just get as much value. We'll just literally suck the value out of our Gorehowl. Next turn we'll probably just throw the antique heal bot down in passive. Up there's the Kinsamida. Poor guy. He tried. Okay, so we just got to win one more for a 3-0 with the Fatigue Warrior 1.5. Ideally, we won't have to play a Paladin because this deck does not do well against mid-range Paladin for sure, which is not that popular. But also, if you don't draw into the brawls and stuff, it can be a really hard matchup for Secret Paladin. Druid, it's also a little bit hard because their combo radius. So fuck, we just went against a Druid. All right, so we're gonna hope we don't lose this. Deathlord is something that's decent off the start here if he's playing. I mean, he's got the Legend card back, which means he's really, really good. And ideally, Deathlord's okay. Death Spite's always something we want. War Axe is something I want more than the Ice Howl. Along with that, if he's playing Aggro Druid, that's actually really favored in our behalf because our Deathlords and stuff become a lot more valuable. But if he's playing mid-range, we never really get off a decent brawl because they don't win by... Like, most decks have a win condition of, like, let's say you're playing mid-range Hunter. Their win condition is playing Sylvanas and building up a decent-sized field. We can deal with them building up a field. What we can't deal with is possibly a 23 damage combo on turn 7. That's kind of hard for any deck to deal with. And by 23 damage combo, that's a double combo. Normally, the normal combo is 14 damage, but if you're playing, you know, like myself, we don't get as fortunate. I don't get as fortunate as that. So I think we can go ahead and summon the Deathlord here. If he's got the Keeper of the Grove, he's going to silence it. And I almost want him to silence the Deathlord more than the Belcher. So he's going to coin out the Keeper to silence it. Ooh, the Shredder. Okay, this is fun. So we can actually just go ahead and bash the Shredder, or we can play our Despite and save bash. I think we'll actually Despite. We'll kill off the Shredder. Don't want to float any mana. And we'll kill off this 3-2. So the start of this game is actually it's looking up for us, guys. We just got to remember, don't get Wombo comboed, draw into Justicar, win the game. Simple steps like that, you can become legend. So next turn, we'll probably play the Belcher. Field control is more important than Niento, because Druids have no form of field clear besides swipe. If we can draw into Shield Maiden next turn, I almost can guarantee we'll have the victory here. Because we have enough CC in our hand to really deal with whatever he plays. There's a Brawl. That doesn't necessarily help us too much. We'd want to shield block after we attack with our weapon. So we're going to go ahead and swing into this. Shield blocking now, though, the draw card could be helpful. Revenge is actually probably their best bet here, but we're going to go ahead and draw and see what we get. Another Despite. So if we Revenge, I think Revenge is fine. Put some damage onto our creatures, but nobody dies and we can save Bash. Revenge, I don't see us getting any value from that anytime soon. I guess it's a comboer for Execute, so he's going to swipe that. He's going to kill it, and then he can't passive to kill the 2-1, but he can cycle with Wrath. And at this point, this is where we're losing field control, and he's going to play Keeper of Lore next turn, and then we're forced to throw down the Gorehowl. So I think we're going to Gorehowl next turn and not passive, because if we throw down the Despite and passive, we can't actually kill the 5/5 he brings out. We're still going to have to attack into it and then waste a Bash on it. But if he plays Lore next turn, we actually can kill it with Despite. So let's bash this and see what comes out first. Or can we just go ahead and play Shield Maiden? Shield Maiden, we float 1 mana. We bash and Despite, I think that's a little bit better. So let's bash, see what comes out of this. Ship's Cannon, we'll go, summons a Despite, we'll kill the Ship's Cannons off, we'll swing for 1. If he plays Lore next turn, the Despite will actually be able to kill the 5/5, and we can play the Shield Maiden and not have to worry about the Shield Maiden getting traded, and we can also kill the Lore. So there's the Ancient of War. So Execute. Oh, man. So this kind of hurts, guys. So Shield Maiden passive. If it was one more turn, we could actually Ice Howl it down. I was hoping we could Ice Howl it down, but we can't. This guy has 8 cards in his hand, which is a pretty hefty amount of cards. He's probably going to use Wrath onto our 1/2, kill off our 5/5 Shield Maiden with his 5/10, and that leaves it so our Ice Howl can't get a ton of value. We'll have to swing into it with our Gorehowl. Or maybe he'll just swing his... Ooh, okay, this is really good. That's awesome. Dr. Boom? Dr. Boom for a good brawl? No, I don't even think we have to brawl there. No, we could brawl. No, we wouldn't, because Big Game Hunter's not going to get any value. Dr. Boom is the only target in this guy's deck for a big game. Our big game, yeah, our Big Game Hunter, the only target in this guy's deck is Dr. Boom. We also need to draw into Juskar. We also are 1 card ahead. So there's the Ancient of Lore, okay. So we can actually Ice Howl down the 5/9, and then we'll Deathspite the 5/5. Ooh, we can actually Shield Slam this, Deathspite this. Oh, wow, that's actually pretty good. Should we Ice Howl now and save Shield Slam, though? What would we use Shield Slam on later? Ice Howl seems good. Kill this. Swing into that. And swing face for 5. So he has to deal with a 10-4 and a 5-4. I'm assuming he has a BGH. If not, we can equip Gorehowl next turn in passive. And then hopefully he doesn't run Harrison. All right, so there's the BGH. There's Emperor. Okay. So I think we can go ahead and War Axe the 4/2 and Shield Slam the Emperor. Seems decent. Keeps card on our field, gets him a little bit low, tickles his butt a little bit just in case we draw like a Hell Scream. So he's like, oh man, is he setting up for combo? What's he got? He also doesn't know we have the 7 damage burst from Gorehowl, which is pretty significant. So he just set himself up for a pretty decent brawl on our behalf. Or we could just go ahead and get big game value, Big Game Hunter value out of that. So we swing the Shield Maiden into his 3/5. Okay. But it does leave us open. So if he has combo, it'll actually deal a significant amount of damage. So let's say we Shield Maiden into the 5/3. We kill it off with our weapon. We Big Game Hunter the 7/7, and then Force of Nature. And then we use our passive. We're at, what, 28, 30? I don't think that could be game. He did Emperor, though. So this is actually, I'm kind of scared at this point. So we brawl. Yeah, we can brawl Deathlord passive, or we kill off this. He ends up with 2 1/1s, and we can still play Deathlord. Big Game Hunter is basically never going to see value. Dr. Boom is going to be the only card we kill, but I don't think a brawl is going to get any better than this. We're going to brawl. If Dr. Boom lives, we have an option. Come on, come on, come on. So Boombot lives. That's more than fine. So we're going to go ahead, kill the Boombot. Don't run out of time. Deathlord passive. Okay. We need to draw Juskar. So he has 8 cards to our 3 cards. Oh, man. We're getting outvalued. Maybe he'll uproot. Who knows? Gorehowl will see lots of value, though. He actually healed with the Ancient of Lore. That's pretty funny. I think we should have boomed there. I mean, I think we should have big game, save the brawl. So he's thinking about using Innervate here for something, but I'm not sure what. What to do? He's thinking about it. He's like, he has something. I don't know what you'd Innervate besides passive or Darnassus Ass Pirate. Okay, so we can go ahead and Gorehowl, kill off his 4/6, and then we can actually kill off his 5/5 with Bash and do we want to kill it off? I think we can. I think that's fine, right? Seems decent. 11 cards to our 14. Anytime we draw Juskar, that'll be nice. We still know he has double combo, but he's running low on creatures, that's for sure. So he's going to Wrath for 3, so he's going to cycle or he's going to kill it. Okay, so he's going to kill it. It's going to bring out a Sylvanas. That's fine. So as long as he doesn't play a Taunt here, we are able to make this trade. So it looks like he's going to Wild Growth the draw card, which is really good. Puts him at 9 cards, right? And we have 14. Yep, so we're 5 cards ahead. Lothab doesn't necessarily stop anything as long as you don't play a taunt. Harvest Golem, not that scary. Harvest Golem's an interesting. An Ass Pirate. Wow, so it looks like he's setting up for lethal next turn. Oh, wow, this is not good. I think he wins here. Yep, he wins. That moment when you have the entire game under control, and then you lose because he has he's got the combo. We're just gonna throw BGH just in case. We know we don't have any more BGH targets. And here comes the Force of Nature Savage Roar. This is why you can't do any. Oh wow, he doesn't have it. He just Wild Growth. Holy shit. Unless he has an Innervate. That is crazy if he doesn't have it. He doesn't have it. He doesn't have it. All right, we just need to draw into Brawl. Oh my god, I was actually getting salty there for a second. I mean, I'm pretty sure we lose though. We drew into 2 executes, Tony. If he has any sort of damage, we're at 8 health, he has 2 cards on board. And we drew into 2 executes back to back. And we have what left in the deck? We've got Brawl, Shield Maiden, Hellscream, Bash, Justicar, Belcher. There's so many cards that we like. Drawing 2 executes back to back, that's like the worst thing that could have happened. Okay, so that was going to be our 1 loss, so hopefully the next game we play we don't lose for another 3-hour-long episode. Oh man, please don't lose. Please don't lose. I don't want this to be another 2 hours of my life wasted making a deck guide. Okay. So we're going against a Shaman. We're going to assume he's aggro Shaman. So as long as we draw an okay opening hand, I think we'll be all right. So War Axe, Death Bite, I can agree to this. If we draw a Death Lord too, Revenge is good. Okay, so I can take this opening hand. It could be worse. So obviously, if he plays Tunnel Trog, we coin out the War Axe. If he doesn't, we don't. Drawing into Justicar is pretty important. So drawing her around like turn 6 to 8, ideal. Drawing her on turn 1 to 3, probably not so ideal. So there's the Leper, so we're going to definitely coin out the War Axe, or we can actually coin Revenge. I think coining out the War Axe is a little bit better, though. Because the Revenge can come in play when he has more than one HP monster. And I just called it a monster, not a creature. Hopefully we can win this.
We're playing Yu-Gi-Oh, right?
We are playing Yu-Gi-Oh.
Aren't they all monsters?
They're all monsters. There's Jescar Trueheart. Didn't I mention how drawing her right now isn't particularly the best thing that could happen? So we're not going to kill the totem as we're not scared of it as of now. If this was later on in the game, we probably would have killed the totem, but because we played it now, not that big of a deal. So he gave it the +2 attack with the Abusive Sergeant. Still not that scary. We can go ahead and kill the Flame Juggler and probably passive to kill the Abusive. Game plan just changed, boys. We've got a Death Lord on the board. I think this basically just won us the game single-handedly. Death Lord OP. So Death Bite on 4, Belcher on 5, probably Jescar on 8. Playing her on 6 is like a huge kind of like play a 6/3, don't do anything after that. But if you play her on 8, you can play Jescar and then passive, so it's not as bad. He's gonna Crackle. Please don't hit it for 7. Hits it for 7. Have mercy. It's gonna attack into it as long as it doesn't bring out the biggest creature in his deck. I'm pretty sure we'll be all right. Brings out a Totem Golem. That's pretty bad for us. Jesus, man. Like, this is pretty bad. All right, so please don't get a Hunter passive. I guess I gets a Hunter passive. Jesus Christ, man. Holy shit. So we'll swing into his 3/4, so next turn we can swing into the 1/3. At least he doesn't have a lot of cards in his hand, so as long as he doesn't draw into Ancestral Knowledge, I think we still might be able to win, even with the luck this guy. Oh, draws an Ancestral Knowledge. I am... Draws into another Ancestral Knowledge? Come on. Lay it on me, bruh. Actually, don't lay it on me. That's weird. Okay, don't hit a 7 with Crackle, hits a 7 with Crackle. Okay, doesn't get a Hunter passive with Murgle Thing, gets a Hunter passive with Murgle Thing. Okay, doesn't draw into Ancestral Knowledge, draws into Ancestral Knowledge. It's good stuff. So I think we can go ahead and Belcher here. We're down to 12 HP. So next turn looks like a Shield Maiden kind of turn. Turn after that's probably a 5-drop passive. And then after that's going to be the Just Scar passive. So if we can just live for 2 more turns. Oh god, Lightning Bolt to face for 4. Please don't tell me you have lethal from your hand. Another Lightning Bolt for 4. Do you have another spell? Okay, no. Okay, so we can get 5 more armor from Shield Maiden. And we're going to kill this stupid totem. So as long as he can't do 7 damage from hand, he already wasted double Lightning Bolt. So he actually has to do 5. So if he has a Lava Burst in his hand, he wins. Because he has exactly enough for another Ancestral Knowledge. Jesus. Alright, so Shield Block is our actually best friend here. Lava Shock. Oh my god. This is disgusting. This is disgusting. Into a Crackle. Please don't hit for 5. Hits for 4. Oh, man. So if he draws into another spell, we lose. A Hunter passive doesn't kill us yet. So many things had, and he draws into Lava Burst. So many things had to go right for him to win that fucking game, dude. Holy shit, I'm just gonna post this. I don't have time for this. You guys see the deck. When you don't get shitted on like that, it works perfectly fine. Like, there had to be a string of events like 7 turns long for him to win. So upset right now. Should I post this, Tony? We're 2-2. Yeah. Are you sure? Tony says yeah. All right. So double execute. There's really nothing to that out of the ordinary in this deck besides the Crush and the Ice Howl. And the Crush allows us to basically, you've seen why it's good, because having the Death Lords out most of the time, they're going to take some sort of damage, or the Sledge Belchers. This allows Crush to pretty much be played for 3 most of the time. And if it's played for 7, and let's say he summons like a Mal'Ganis or something huge that you wouldn't be able to get rid of anyway, and you're it seems like we replace Crush for a Bouncing Blades, and Bouncing Blades, if they have like, if we're playing against a Rush deck, most of the cards have anywhere between 1 to 3 HP. So you're most of the time only going to kill a card that has like a 1 or 2 drop. But as Crush, you can target pretty much whatever you want. So if you don't have Crush, run 2 Bouncings. But if you don't have Bouncings, you can run Crush. And then as for the Ice Howl, this is automatically going to be able to make a trade with whatever it feels like it, because it has 10 HP and it has 10 attack and it has charge. Unfortunately, it does have 9 mana though, so you can't use your passive and Ice Howl at the same time. But as in Hellscream, you can, Hellscream out, kill something, use your passive. Because most of the time, you want to make sure you're using your Warrior passive every single turn with Fatigue Warrior. Just to make sure you're able to live that long game. But for most of the time, if you can find a room to wiggle in an Ice Howl to take care of like a 5/5, not only is he going to have to waste whatever BGH, like huge CC he has, which again slows his tempo down. If he doesn't have anything, you can just keep picking off creatures with Ice Howl. So if you're like going against, let's say, I guess a mid-range Druid is a good example. So if they're not able to have the big game hunter, you can actually kill a couple Druid of the Claws, kill a couple Lures, kill the War like we did. So there's a lot of different combinations you can use the Ice, not combinations, but a lot of different cards Ice Howl can take advantage of if they don't have the amount of CC to deal with him. Along with that, the Shield Maidens, of course, to give you armor, just Car as soon as you can. Unfortunately, you don't want to keep her in your opening hand unless you're playing like a Freeze Mage or a really slow matchup. If you're playing against another Warrior, keeping her in the opening hand's fine. If you're playing against a Freeze Mage, keeping her in your opening hand's fine. Playing against an aggro deck, like we said, drawing her really didn't make a difference because we weren't able to play her. And if we did, it was too slow anyway. Yeah, there's a lot of things that went wrong in that game. Like, we didn't draw on a shield block, Anti-Killbot would have been fine, Bash would have been cool, cards that allow us to, manage around the amount of crap we just got thrown at us. Baron, play him when you can kill at least 2 or more creatures with his not his passive, but his ability. And then, yeah, that's basically it with Baron. Nothing too crazy about him. Just set it up so if you have to, Baron, you play Baron, and let's say they have a 5/5 out, a 2/2, and a 2/1, you bash the 5/5 so it has 2 HP. Just make sure everybody's lined up to die. You don't want to leave another card up that's like a 5/1 and then make the 5/1 trade into Baron, because that's kind of useless. Brawling, making sure you get the most value out of this is sometimes difficult. So mid-range Druid, they normally max have 3 creatures out, because most of their creatures are pretty beefy, and they're not known to swarm the field unless, you know, you give them a fucking 2 feet of rope, and then they just take full advantage of it. So most of the time, knowing when to brawl against particular classes. So like brawling against another warrior, 2 to 3 cards is fine. Brawling against mid-range druid, 2 to 3 cards is fine. Brawling against maybe a paladin, because of their passive, they're always able to generate those 1/1s. Aiming for, you know, 4 to 5 cards on a paladin field is ideal to make sure you get the most value out of brawl. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Using Deathlord to pull out cards that you know they don't want to play, like Lord Jaraxxus, which we saw in the first game. And that basically sums up our Fatigue Warrior 1.5. Sorry we weren't able to go into the 3-0 or even the 3-1. Can't always get lucky. But like we saw that last 2 games, there was just like, at some points you're just going to lose. There's no, like, a string of events that had to happen for that guy to win was like astronomically low. But it happens because it's Hearthstone and it's an RNG game. Anyway, guys, of course, glad to have you here at the end. I'm Warshack and happy whatever the hell day it is.